أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولما برزوا لجالوت وجنوده قالوا ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. فهزموهم بإذن الله وقتل داود جالوت وآتاه الله الملك والحكمة وعلمه مما يشاء ولولا دفع الله الناس بعضهم ببعض لفسدت الأرض ولكن الله ذو فضل على العالمين. تلك آيات الله نتلوها عليك بالحق تلك آيات الله نتلوها عليك بالحق تلك آيات الله نتلوها عليك بالحق وإنك لمن المرسلين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات اللهم صل على
محمد وعجل فرجهم. اللهم صل على فاطمة وأبيها وبعدها وبنيها السر المستودع فيها بعدد ما أحاط به علمك. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
بسم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن فاطمة الزهراء عليها السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله قال سمعت فاطمة أنها قالت دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال السلام عليك يا فاطمة، فقلت عليك السلام. قال إني أجد في بدني ضعفا، فقلت له أعيذك بالله يا أبتاه مرة. فقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني، فغطيني به، فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله، فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله. فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جدا يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء؟ فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معه تحت الكساء، فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أماه. فقال السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جدا، السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء؟ فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب فقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. قال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله. فقلت نعم ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال له وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسيي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء. فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرفي الكساء وأومأ بيده اليمنى إلى السماء. فقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن صالمهم، وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم، فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، فأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا، فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل يا رب ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. فقال جبرائيل يا رب أتأذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض لأكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدهية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين رحم الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء فقال لأبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي إذن والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال النبي ثانيا يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيهم مهموم إلا وفرج الله همه ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله همه ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي إذن والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه.
अकेली है ज़हरा कहाँ जाए आखिर बयाबान हर सू शिकस्ता है पहलू अकेली है ज़हरा अकेली है ज़हरा कहाँ जाए आखिर बयाबान हर सू शिकस्ता है पहलू अकेली है ज़हरा। दरे फातिमा को जलाया है तुमने किया वादा अपना बुलाया है तुमने तमाचे न मारो मुसलमानों जाओ अली को बुलाओ अकेली है आखिर बयाबान हर सू शिकस्ता है पहलू अकेली है जहरा रोने पे पहरा मसाइब का सहरा अकेली है जहरा बयां किससे जाकर करूं दर्द अपना है गैरों की दुनिया नहीं कोई अपना कोई जाके बाबा से कह दो ये जाकर बाकी मैं यहाँ पर अकेली है जहरा रोने का पहरा मसाइब का सहरा अकेली है जहरा रोने का पहरा मसाइब का सहरा अकेली है जहरा अलगते जिगर ए हसन इब्न हैदर ये नाना के पहलू में सोने न देगर तुम आ जाना पहलू में सो जाना माँ के बाकी में यहाँ पर अकेली है जहरा रोने पे पहरा मसाइब का सहरा अकेली है जहरा कहाँ जाए आखिर बयाबान हर सू शिकस्ता है पहलू अकेली है जहरा शहे करबला ने कहा रो के माँ से ये मजलूम बेटे ने मजलूम माँ से अकेला हूँ मैं भी अकेली है ज़ैनब अकेले है बाबा अकेली है ज़हरा रोने पे पहरा मसाइब का सहरा अकेली है ज़हरा रोने पे पहरा मसाइब का सहरा अकेली है ज़हरा कहाँ जाए आखिर बयाबान हर सू शिकस्ता है पहलू अकेली है ज़हरा अकेली है ज़हरा बाबा से बुलंद सलावत
अल्लाहुम्मा
बाबा से बुलंद सलावत
मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद व अज्जिल फरजह।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء سيدنا أبا القاسم المصطفى محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه
وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين. Brothers and sisters in Islam, I greet you with the best of greetings, saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Allahumma salli ala Fatima alayha salam wa ala abiha wa bariha wa baniha wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. In the Holy Quran, in Surah Al-Maryam, Allah
all the believers to do something. Therefore, in many verses, it repeated over and over and over and over that وَاذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ وَاذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ. Recall to your memory. Remind yourself. Allah cited few examples. For example, وَاذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ Ibrahim, وَاذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ Musa, and many of them like that. And there is another area in the Holy Quran where Allah talks about Nabi Yahya and Nabi Isa. He now gave us three things that is very, very important to always remember. It talks about the day of their birth, the day of their death, and the day they shall be resurrected back to life. My point here is that as we are commemorating the ayyam of Sayyidah Fatima, salamullahi alayha, I'm simply trying to make an ishara to the fact that it is something that is proving, according to the Holy Quran, that on the day of death, we need to remember, especially some of the great ones. Now, what I'm going to do, inshallah, is I will first try to make a very simple analogy so that from the perspective of the Holy Quran, we'll try to rationalize who the Lady of Light, Lady Fatima, is. Salamullahi alayha. Then, in my conclusion, I will try to task us in the fact that لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ, not only the Prophet, but as well the Ahlul Bayt, and as well Sayyidah Fatima, that she is a golden example for all of us. But before that, in Surah Al-Maryam as well, Allah talks about the Holy Lady Maryam. When the angel visited her, the angel told her that Inna Allah istafaki wa tahharaki wastafaki ala nisa'il alamin. That Allah has chosen you, Allah has selected you and purified you, and He has chosen you above the Nisa, all the women of mankind. Yes, this is about the Holy Lady Maryam. What about the Holy Lady Fatima, salamullahi alayha? Some people are of the opinion that why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not mention the name of Fatima in the Holy Quran? If we are of the opinion that the Holy Lady Fatima was even greater than Lady Maryam. And our reply to them is that, one, the Holy Quran, according to a riwayah in Usul al-Kafi, from Imam Jafar Sadiq
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So when you take a look at the division of the Quran, there are parts that talks about those that have come before us. And it is necessary that whenever Allah wants to introduce them to us, it is necessary they are mentioned by name. For example, Prophet Isa alayhi salam was mentioned in the Quran 25 times by name. But our Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was only mentioned by name 4 or 5 times. Are we saying that Nabi Isa is greater than the Holy Prophet Muhammad? Okay. What about Prophet Isa? He was mentioned by name more than 100 times in the Holy Quran. So it is not about mentioning a name in the Quran that gives superiority. No. And the Quran was actually revealed to the Holy Prophet Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. And if Allah is communicating to them, it's not needed to mention their name, because it's a direct communication to them. This is my student, Ali Avis. Whenever I'm talking to him, it does not make any sense to be calling his name. Ali. It's not because I can see him and I'm talking to him direct. Therefore, I will use domir. I will use pronoun. Second person pronoun. So therefore, by the time we take a look at the Quran, the Holy Prophet Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad, they were mentioned the most in the Holy Quran. But Allah continue to be using domir, you. For example, إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم رجس أهل البيت. That is a direct conversation to them. Allah does not need to be mentioning Ali, Fatima, Hassan, Hussein, and the rest. So therefore, the Holy Lady Fatima, Salamullahi alayhi, we should not have that doubt that she's one of the most beloved that Allah addressed many times in the Holy Quran. She is known with several names, accolades. If we are asked who was the Holy Lady Fatima, the first thing that comes to mind is that the daughter of the Prophet, bint Rasul. But we are not doing justice to Holy Lady Fatima. Yes, it is one of the lofty positions to be a son or daughter of a prophet. But for a fact, we have seen a son of a prophet of Allah that happens to be in Jahannam. For example, son of Nabi Noha alayhi salam. So being a son or a daughter or a wife of a prophet is not an automatic higher position or merit. Therefore, we should treat Sayyidah Fatima Salamullahi alayha for who she is. Even we have countless riwayat, both in Kutub Ahl-Sunnah and Kutub Shia, that whenever she enters to go and visit her father, the Holy Prophet Muhammad will stand up for her and receive her to come and sit where she is seated. What does that tell us? It's simply telling us the lofty status, the excellent status of Sayyidah Zahra Salamullahi alayha. She is known as Az-Zahra. In Usul al-Kafi, they ask, I think Imam Bakir or Imam Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, Lima sumiyat Az-Zahra. Why did she named Az-Zahra? And the Imam replied that whenever she stands up to pray, a light will fill the denizens of heaven. That was how she was named as Zahara, the radiant, the light. She was named Al-Batul. She has so many names that even if we take one and talk about it, it is enough to have an impact in our life. Those names, they are simply not something we just put on our shoulder. No. We have to learn from those names. Again, in the Holy Quran, Allahu Akbar. The only family of which Sayyidah Fatima happens to be the only female in them, where Allah says He has purified them absolutely, is the Ahlul Bayt. إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم رجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. Many a times we recite this particular verse, but we don't even comprehend the verse. Innama. That is affirmation. Allah now says what He removed from them is arranged with alif and lam. In Sarf, that alif and lam is umum. Any form of rijs you can ever think of, whether physical or spiritual or mental, Allah has totally removed it from them. That is maf'ulun mutlaq, absolute perfection. But let's try to even convince ourselves, brothers and sisters. What does Sayyidah Fatima did to make her so lofty in her status? Because we have no doubt that there are some beings, they are not prophets of Allah, but their position is far higher than the prophets of God. Hadith, both hadith of Ahl Sunnah and hadith of Shia, absolutely. And Sayyidah Fatima, salamullahi alayha, she is the leader of all women from the beginning of the world till the end. One of the characteristics of Sayyidah Fatima that is so excellent is that Al-Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam reported that he used to study his mother, that whenever she wakes up in the middle of the night, she will be in prayer, she will be in dua for everybody without her even mentioning her own name. Ask yourself, all of us, it is part of insaniyah, it is part of characteristics of human being to be selfish. But it is part of the characteristics of spirituality not to be selfish. Let us learn this fundamental point from Sayyidah Zahra. Whenever she prays, she does not even remember herself. She's focused with her Lord. And if it is time to make dua, she only do dua for people around her, not even herself. Let's try to imbibe this spirit of selflessness, not spirit of selfishness. Let's try and take this from her. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam introduced a daughter as Abiha, mother of a father. There's a lot of meaning to this. Prophet is not talking about physical relationship. Absolutely not. And we all know it is Hazrat Amina that gave birth to the Prophet. So why is the Prophet saying that Fatima is the mother of her father? And we know one thing about the Prophet. لا ينطق عن الهوى إن هو إلا وحي يوحى علمه شديد القوى. That is the Prophet. In fact, there is a riwayah where one of the Sahaba came to the Prophet that I used to write whatever you are saying, I used to write it down. But the Kibaru of the Quraysh, they called me and said, why are you writing everything? He said, why are you writing it down? It's a man like you. He can make mistake. He can be happy and he can be sorrowful. And those two things, those two states can change the way we decide, the way we talk. And Prophet told the person, for Wallahi, I swear by Allah that has my nafs. Ma yakhriju minha, anything that comes from this mouth, nothing will come from this mouth illa haq, except the truth. So what the Prophet said is that Fatima Habiha, he meant it. No doubt it is an inspiration from Allah. If this is Sayyidah Fatima, Salamullahi alayha. There's another thing I would like to mention. In most of my sittings, I used to make mention of this. Al-Imam Alusi belongs to the Al-Tasannum. He wrote tafsir of Quran, Ru'ul Ma'ani. So when he talks about Maryam, alayha salam, where Allah says, Inna Allah istafaki wa taharaki wa istafaki ala nisa'i alamin. When he talked about that particular verse, we can all go and research about it. He now said, what is the position of Sayyidah Fatima? He said, he believed in the view of Abu Ja'far that Sayyidah Fatima is far greater than Maryam. And I'll use one analogy that the Holy Prophet says about Fatima, Fatimatu bid'atu minni. Fatima is part of me. So he now said, how can parts of Al-Rasul al-Ahzar, Imam al-Mursaleen, Sayyid al-Bashar, how can a part of him be lower than another person? It's not possible. That alone simply tells us that whatever comes out of Muhammad is definitely greater than every other thing. And do we think it is coincidence? Do you think it is coincidence that out of all the children of the Prophet, the only person that survived was Sayyidah Fatima, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi? It is not a coincidence. It is the plan, the perfect plan of Allah. And we all know the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that إني تارك فيكم الثقلين ما إن تمسكتم به لن تضلوا بعدي. He has left two things for the guidance of mankind. In fact, there is a riwayah that says, Ya ayyuhan nas, inni tariku fikum at-thaqalain. So, all mankind, I have left two weighty things for you. The Book of Allah and the Al-Bayt. And we all know, all the Muslims agree, according to a mutawatir hadith, where the Prophet says that after me, there will be 12 ahimma for the Ummah. Who is the progenitor, the mother, the source of all this ahimma? Sayyidah Fatima. Try to look at it from different perspectives. From the father side, from the mother side, the husband, the children. Look at Sayyidah Fatima in all dimensions.
MashaAllah.
She is a perfect woman.
Subhanallah.
Perfect. Allah created her to be so. Salamullahi alayha. Therefore, Sayyidah Fatima should make a very good mark in our hearts. Now, if this is Sayyidah Fatima, from the Quranic perspective, from the Ahadith perspective, even from the intellect, if this is Sayyidah Fatima, what happens to her after the death of the Prophet? The first injustice done by the community of the Muslims after the demise of the Prophet is to deny her her right. And the most saddening part of it is that she was implicitly, I didn't say directly, she was implicitly labeled a liar. Subhanallah. One of her titles is As-Siddiqa, the truthful one. And when she went to the first Khalifa, where is my property? The reply was that go and bring witness. If you had somebody to go and bring a witness, definitely you did not trust that person. There is one hadith in Al-Mustadraka ala Sahihain. The hadith is also in Bihar al-Anwar of Al-Hallam al-Majlis, that Aisha, she says something that she has never, this is hadith sahih, she has never saw the most truthful person on earth except Fatima. That the only person that is above her is her father, the Prophet Muhammad. So if Sayyidah Fatima says something, who is anybody to question, to even have a shred of doubt in it? That was the first injustice meted by to her after the death of her father. But that was actually the beginning. In a bid to seek allegiance for Abu Bakr, and they committed a crime that Allah will never ever forgive any one of them. they attack the house of Sayyidah Fatima. The house in which Allah instructed that whoever wants to enter, you need to seek permission before you enter. They attack the house with fire. Let's even put aside Shia tradition. Let's put aside Shia ahadith. Let's put aside Shia history. Let's put it aside for a while and focus on their history, on their hadith. They have countless of narrations in which there is no doubt about the incident that they attack the house of Sayyidah Fatima salamullahi alayhi, and they burn the house. The house was burnt. For what? All in the name they are looking for bayhad, something that does not even belong to them. And we have countless narration that she was injured for the fact that she lost her pregnancy. Is this how the ummah of a father going to repay the Prophet? لا أسألكم عليه حجرا إلا المودة في القربى. Prophet says, I did not need anything from you. I did not need anything from you. Go and read the Quran. All the past prophets, all of them, from the beginning till the end, what they normally say is that our reward is with Allah. The reward of our tabligh is with Allah. But why is it that in the case of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, the tone changed? Why? And Allah had the Prophet tell your ummah, لا أسألكم عليه أجر إلا المودة في القربى. All I need from you is to love my Ahlul Bayt. Is that too much? And before the Prophet died, this hadith is in Sahih al-Muslim. It says, I left two things for you. The book of Allah and the Ahlul Bayt. He now added another thing. And he said that 3 times. The Prophet says, Udakirukum Allahu Ahlul Bayti. Udakirukum Allahu Ahlul Bayti. Udakirukum Allahu Ahlul Bayti. I remind you by Allah. I remind you by Allah of my Ahlul Bayt after me. Prophet says that 3 times for the Ummah. Yet, look at what happened to Sayyidah Fatima. They killed her. They murdered the beloved daughter of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Therefore, Quran is telling you and I, وَاذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ. Call to your memory. Let us remember Sayyidah Fatima. Let us remember this day, what happens to her. And let us learn from Asira. Let us try to take her as ulgu, standard. Why? Because she was perfect in her life. She lived a very short life. But that short life was the most perfect life that any human being will ever live. How old am I? How old are you? Whereby you cannot use your life, your age, and bring out the best out of it. If you follow, if I follow, if we follow Sayyidah Fatima, we definitely achieve that. No matter how small our age is in life. It is not all about numbers. but quality, that spiritual quality. Assalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala ahli baytihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin al-ma'sumin wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein. Fatima Zahra, Fatima Zahra, Fatima Zahra, Fatima Zahra, Fatima Zahra, Zahra, Ya Zahra, Ya Zahra, Ya
فرجه.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام على رسول الله. السلام عليك يا رسول الله ورحمة الله وبركاته.